Hi, Bethany. Welcome to our platform.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, so uh, before we go to the point, just tell us about yourself, your artistic journey.
Yeah.
When did you start the mural? Yeah.
So I began painting the mural in Hosier Lane last Friday, and previous to that, I've been practicing as an artist for 3 years, and that includes working on large-scale murals, both internationally and in Australia, as well as taking on
Okay.
private commissions. So it's like most artists, it's a bit of everything: murals and painting. And then I've recently gone back to study at RMIT University to focus on sculpture and painting.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to know how did you learn about Jaswant Singh, Sardar Jaswant Singh Khalda and his work on human rights?
That's a great question. And truth be told, I hadn't heard of his story prior to this commission. I knew nothing about him. And when I was approached to paint a portrait, I did a lot of research because I think his
Ah,
story is the most important part of this artwork. It's not just, the technical side of it or the fact that
right.
it's in
Yeah.
Hosier Lane, which is incredible. It really is what he stood for. And then the meaning it has in community. The impact has
Yeah.
been incredible. So I did learn about him in making this work, and I listened to recordings of his speeches and I listened to his words, and I was taken by the way he spoke and what he stood for and the work he did. But the honest truth is, I didn't know his story before this commission, and I'm so glad that I know of him now.
What inspired you most to create this mural of Jaswant Singh Khalda?
He had a presence in so many of the recordings and the photos and the articles that I read. He had a presence, and his respect in community I could see. And so I was inspired to structure him and his face and his story. And there was a sentence he said about being the light, be the lamp in the darkness, to stand against the darkness. So I wanted a bright centerpiece mural. And when we were discussing what this commission would look like and where it would be, we went into two different options. One could be this stencil cut, which we decided to do for Hosier Lane so that we could reprint it if it got graffitied over, as is the nature of Hosier Lane. Or we could
Yeah.
do a different style portrait, which was more expressive and hand painted with lots of color. And his eyes would be the centerpiece in that piece. And I was really
Yeah.
proud of both designs, but we ended up going with the stencil work because it was more practical. But the second design, I really hope we can achieve that one day because it is such a special embodiment of his expression, of his words and his kindness and his bravery. And that was the decision we made. It was more practical for Hosier Lane, but I think both encapsulated him as a beacon and his kindness and bravery. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how long did it take you to complete this piece? And uh, did you face any challenges during this artwork?
Absolutely. So the installation of the mural itself took maybe 3 hours. Hosier Lane is free to paint, so you pick a spot on the wall, and we did a base coat of color, and then you build on with the stencil work. All the work in stencil painting is done elsewhere. So it took me 2 days to carve three different stencil layers, and
Yeah.
that was difficult, and there were challenges. I think the synthetic plastic that we're using is quite tough, which can stand against spray paint. But then I really wanted there to be detail in his face. I wanted the lines of his face. I wanted, the hairs in his beard and the shadows of his lapels of
Yeah.
his jacket. And then, of course, the
Yeah.
faces of the people around him. Those details took a lot of time to carve and to be very patient. And I like that nature that it took time, but it took me about 2 days to carve. And then, of course, the designing of the artwork that took a number of days, and we did a few different designs. So all up, it took 3 or 4 days to accomplish this work.
Ah, that's interesting. The mural shows Kalaraji's with a microphone and surrounded by people. Can you explain the symbolism behind this design?
Yes, of course. I think he
Yeah.
spoke for the voiceless. He spoke loudly and proudly, and he was not silenced by pressure and, threats to his life. I think the microphone is a symbol for his willingness to stand up to those who could not speak for themselves. And immediately in reading his words and listening to his speak, I thought he was a terrific speaker, and that was what struck me, that he was so loud and caring for people. He never backed down.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a significant part of his story and what he still represents in community, inspiring future young people to stand up for themselves and for
Yeah.
their community and for what is right. And I hope that's what people take away when they see him, backed by people. He represents, fighting for what's right, no matter what.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Bethany, how do you see art as a tool for raising awareness about social justice or human rights?
That is such a good question. I think it is the responsibility of the artist to reflect what is happening in the world, the good and the bad. I do think it is our responsibility to create these moments that can be looked back upon, but then also it's a different way of communicating. And there are some things that words just cannot express. There are some things that an article cannot describe that art can capture. And I think it is the responsibility
Right.
of the artist to create those expressive moments for history's sake and for future's sake, to inspire action, to remind us why we're here and what's the point of this. The connection
Yeah.
and standing up together. I think humans are incredible creatures just in the sense that we can create.
Actually. Yeah.
And so it is special on an artist's end to be able to have that freedom and also build into history. It is an honor to build into history. And even if it is saying the
Yeah.
hard thing where there's negative pressure, I do think it's the artist's responsibility. I think it's everyone's responsibility, but an artist can
Yeah.
express it in a different kind and reach people that, perhaps other forms of communication can't.
Excellent. What kind of response you have received from the people who have seen this mural from our community and the wider community? Yeah.
I am outstanding. Like I'm baffled. I cannot tell you how many responses I have had. The community has sent me hundreds of messages in the last 48
Wow.
hours, and I have received so much gratitude from the community, from the wider Melbourne community, but it's also international. I had no
Yeah.
idea that it would spread so quickly and it would mean so much. I knew it was important. I knew it would mean something, but the scale, I had no idea. And it really has grown. My online presence has just become this mural. It has, for want of a better phrase, it's gone viral. For the right reason, I think. But yes, I have been overwhelmed by messages of gratitude and, messages of what it means to the community, to the young people in the community, especially. There have been a lot of parents taking their kids to see the mural in Hosier Lane, sending me photos of the kids standing in front of the mural. And that is so special to me. That's why we do
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is very wow feeling, yeah? This time.
Yes.
Yeah, at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you plan to create more artworks about Sikh history or other human rights defenders?
Yes. I think something that I'm good at as an artist is telling stories. I like to think that I'm able to listen and to retell in a creative way. And there are a few conversations about future projects around Sikh culture and the community. But, it's hard to say what the future will hold. Right now, I'm also balancing other commercial murals and other private commissions. So it's about that balance. But I think what I have taken away from this experience has absolutely inspired me and committed me to telling more of this history. I have been embraced by the community, and it's absolutely inspirational and meaningful for me.
That's great. What message would you like to deliver to the community or our listeners or the audience?
Be the light. I think that has been
That's
my
very strong.
single most how do I say, like, most impactful encounter that I've had with everyone. It is just this, it's a small interaction that spreads, it glows. And I think if we can stand strong, focus on the
Yep.
good, focus on the impact we can have through the good, we can be the light and we will grow. And I think that's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. So thank you so much for sparing time with us, Bethany, and all the very best for your future projects.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank
Thank you.